Hey there folks, my name's Torinski and welcome back to another DCSS Sunday. Today we're of course jumping right back into the usual routine of trying to get a win with every deity in the game. Where we last left off, we'd had an interesting time with our Lucy run, good old Luganu. And of course we'd ended off the stream by trying to get a couple of reruns started. Nothing too exciting going on there at the moment, but hopefully today we can get back into the pilot seat and potentially see what all the fuss is about, see why Rue is pretty commonly labeled as one of the stronger gods in the game. But of course, who knows what the dungeon has in store, so without further ado, I guess let's just hop right back into it. Good old can't miss. Unfortunately, missed quite often, and some other unfortunate things happen to you. Good old can't miss. But okie dokie. I think I do kind of want to try another Formicid, potentially this time around. We'll start out with a melee focus, try to take a bit more advantage of Rue's distraction effect on nearby enemies, and see how that goes. Always love being able to potentially wield a two-handed axe in one set of arms at some point in the later stages of the game, so generally works out kind of nicely for us. So not fighter or not hunter this time, but instead we'll change things up a little bit. We'll try it out and see how it goes. Who knows? Maybe miracles can come true. The accountant was what I came up with about 2 minutes before hitting the go live button, so for the time being, we'll just go with that and see how we fare, shall we? Perfect. And all of our usual skill settings, at least for this kind of classic axe fighter here. Also drop into our auto pickups as per usual. I'm starting to ignore stones, and I think that's been a pretty solid move. That's been a turn for the better, all things considered, especially since slings no longer require them, so at the end of the day, why the heck would I want any? And we'll of course also do a quick dump of the morgue. Let's grab that seed, just in case we get another ridiculously fantastic start, and any of you folks want to play along at home. Okie dokie, and with that sorted, nothing to do but get into the mix of things, shall we? And hopefully the first little bit of the run here, nothing untowards happens. It should be pretty straightforward at the end of the day. Reflection and willpower rings definitely can come into handy, or come in handy, I should say. Oh, and what was that ring? See invisible. That makes sense why we ignored it then. And we'll just keep on keeping on. What we're mainly hoping to find very early on, preferably on the first floor or two, is a heavier set of armor. I'd definitely swap into plate mail as soon as we can get our mandibles on them, I guess. Struggling to come up with what you'd call the appendages of an insect, and I'm blanking on anything exceptionally clever at the moment here, unfortunately. But as expected, first floor pretty smooth, all things considered. Just blast our way through, taking down everything in our path. Ring of Poison Resistance is a lovely early find as well, don't mind if I do. And a Faded Altar. I don't think we'll worship here. Now, if only this was the Luganu run, because then it would definitely be worth it. 1/3 chance we get what I want, and regardless, we kind of need to plug the hole with some other deity in the meantime, but until we get to the Abyss. But unfortunately, I think I've kind of come into the stream this evening dead set on trying out Rue, getting a good Rue run going for the first time, and seeing, as mentioned, what it's all about. See why everyone loves Rue. Besides, what is it, Apocalypse? All I could think of was Apocalypse Now. Is it just called Apocalypse? I feel like I am very suddenly losing all of my ability to remember things correctly. Which is always great. You know, starting into a stream here, gotta warm up with some errant forgetfulness, some stupidity. Otherwise, how do you know it's a Torinski stream? You know what I mean? Gotta stick true to the brand in that regard, and that's of course the only reason why I ever forget or don't know something. It's all for the bit, it's all for the character, and all that good stuff. But not too bad of a start so far. Okay, a little scared seeing our first orc here. Hopefully we don't have too much of a roving band. Specifically not looking forward to any priests when we're sitting at 37 health. Hey Darkas, how's it going? Hope you're having a fantastic Sunday or Monday, whatever time zone, or whichever time zones you may be in. Oh, maybe I should not have fought Terrence. Well, jeez Louise. Quicksilver wand is rough. We did have a potion of curing that immediately is undone. Let's maybe try one of our other potions as well. Berserk Rage, that's not quite going to cut it. But hey, we managed to take out Terrence here, and we did get a set of slightly heavier armor, so everything comes out as a general win here. The only thing I'm pretty nonplussed, or unhappy about rather, is using up all of our curing. It would have been nice to keep one of those around in our back pocket for if we face something with, I guess confusion would be the big non-starter there, seeing as how we at least have poison resistance from our early ring. So that leaves us in a better spot than we otherwise would usually be in using up all of our curing this early on. But nothing we can't handle, I'm sure. Never a doubt in my mind that the accountant will make it through in one piece. Just have to believe, folks. And level 6, that's beautiful. I should probably change... Oof. I was gonna say change my auto quiver away from dig, seeing as how I'm almost definitely gonna accidentally extend my mandibles when trying to do something completely different, as is often the case. But first and foremost, we'll run away from the kobold band here. Yikes, if I could get... There we go, just the shaman is exactly what we were hoping for. Or sorry, the Buddha. The Bauda? Not sure. The correct nomenclature for you, my friend, and for that I apologize. But hey, too late to ask now. Unfortunately, you are very much dead. But unfortunately for you, I guess. Important to specify, seeing as how we're sitting pretty right now. Things are going fantastic. Kobold, everything looking a little more on the up and up here. I probably will buy a potion of heal wounds, gets it ID'd, and a nice extra one in our pocket, both of which we're in desperate need of right now, some kind of sustainability for the future. And then otherwise, I could buy poison darts, they're nice and cheap, but I'm probably happy with that for now. We'll make a loop back if absolutely necessary, maybe an early boulder beetle, give some credence to the idea of having early poison as a requirement, but for the moment here, I think we'll just keep on keeping on, save that money just in case we find a fantastic axe awaiting us in the future. And the shining one was the quote-unquote good side of the above altars. Is the bad? What is the opposite of the shining one? Like Kiku? Which of the bad, or the evil gods? Yered, of course. That makes a lot of sense as well. Unfortunately, neither is exactly what we're looking for at this juncture, so we'll just head out for the moment here, and we're gonna try to just beeline towards a corner of the map, keeping an eye out for more messages regarding the sewer here. Okay, so distant avalanche of sand means that we are relatively close, though not as near as we might like. So potentially we'll head down from here and see if that gets us nearby instead. So it definitely seems like we made the right call there. This red is usually an altar and not a sewer entrance, but it's worth checking out. No, it is just... Oh right, a diamond. Makes sense. A suit for good old Nemlex, of course. Okay, I'm gonna have to... Oops, step back from you kids momentarily. Yikes. Well, I guess there goes our heal wounds. A little bit earlier than I would otherwise like, but if we're just taking damage from our orc friend and the occasional null that gets swifted up to us, then that's not the end of the world. Hey Brain, how's it going? That should actually do the trick. We can probably just murder everyone the old-fashioned way. And hopefully, I think the sewer should still be open. Or, right, not sewer. What am I thinking about? The ossuary, I think is what you're called. You would think to yourself that after years and years of playing the game on and off, I'd have a little bit more of a grasp on basic nomenclature for generalized areas, but here we are. So how about that? Again, my ineptitude knows no bounds. And rude of you to assume that I'm not stupid enough to be an absolute idiot. Again, I somehow fumbled my way through that, and as always, not super satisfied with where my brain took it, but such is life at the end of the day. And what I am satisfied with is this ossuary itself. It's always a nice little surplus of treasure, and that is beautiful. Did I pick up another heal wounds there? I must have, right? Because I do believe I properly drank that earlier in our rough-looking encounter. And of course, again, the game just screaming at us to return to Luganu here. Would have been a fantastic run for it. But hey, fortunately enough, Rue is also available, and again, I think I'm gonna be fairly mule-headed about this today. Stubborn to my roots. And we'll grab that son of a gun and see how she goes, shall we? So my understanding is that we'll be wanting to make some big sacrifices early on. I would probably be willing to sacrifice a hand. We could still use two-handed weapons, and it would just mean no shield for us. Which is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. Speaking of two-handed, I will pick you up for now. I wish it was an enchanted two-handed axe. But I'll take what I can get for the moment, and at least have that as a potential backup for our future. Again, ideally we find something a little more competent, but you never know what you're gonna find here in the deep depths, so such is life. And much more manageable down on this stairwell. Still kind of terrified of running into Maggie, especially if the next time we just immediately get mesmerized on sight. But we'll sneak past that friend, take advantage of our Formicid antenna, and there we go. There's the enchanted battle axe that we were hoping for earlier. That's fantastic. And not too shabby. Definitely take you kids back to the stairwell. Poison or venom weapon, of course, reaching through our resistance, unfortunately. Oh, and hello, Maggie. I mean, Bolt of Fire is pretty rough. We can get in close, we can potentially murder you quickly enough, but I'm not feeling super confident with it. So I think I would rather head upstairs, put on the gloves that I forgot to do so with earlier, make sure we get that additional AC working our way, and then we can head this way now that Maggie has decided to completely switch gears and change over to the other side of the level. And okay, you had a flaming spear, so I think it was a venom spear out there. Probably you. I should check before starting the fight, but was pretty confident that we could at least take care of them, and that did end up being the case, so not too shabby. And perfect. Gets us a little bit closer. I should check in, make sure I didn't accidentally miss a sacrifice, but does not look to be the case here today. And it's looking like at the moment we've successfully avoided Maggie. There we go. In fact, what we'll probably do, let's head back up, head back down, and this brings us a little bit closer to our other downstairs. so we can just leave for the time being. We can always come back for Maggie at a slightly better date, or completely forget she exists and meet her on the orb run. You know, whichever comes first here. Definitely should not stand in a spot where all the spheres can attack us. But take one further step and nothing is too big of a problem there. Ooh, +1 pair of boots, don't mind if I do. Another nice boost to our armor class there, and then we'll pop around the corner from our centaur friend. +3 hand axe of freezing. I feel like that does, yeah, less damage overall. With the freezing as well, a bit more comparable, a bit more competitive, but actually that's kind of tough because it will also increase our 2-hit chance, so probably actually is worth it to swap over temporarily here. Oh hey Devessa. I'd rather kill your brother first. Speak of the devil. I also would rather get the heck out of sightline of all 3 of these orc priests. That's a little more smiting action than I feel comfortable handling at this juncture, at this moment in time. There we go. We can just swap back to this stairwell and maybe say hello to just down in Devessa. Or just the priests. Really anything to kind of simplify the situation is what I was hoping for there, but unfortunately, that's not how it's gonna go down. Did Maggie see me? I don't think Maggie saw me. Sold the question mark. Cause geez Louise. Okay, take the 2 priests upstairs at the very least. Try to simplify the encounter here slightly, though still just not going as planned here at the moment. Probably can take care of down in Devessa though. Maybe we'll open up some of these down stairwells as potential escape options, since anywhere that we head up now always runs the risk of coming face to face with Maggie at a less than ideal moment in time. Ooh, and we did get some sacrifices. So sacrificing Arcana is a pretty safe bet. I don't plan on casting anything. I think Rue recognizes that though, right? This is not going to be labeled as a major sacrifice. Yeah, medium sacrifice is meh. Oh, skill is also medium. Okay, health is major, so we get minus 10% health. I don't love Frail, but potentially we can get away with it. Hopefully we'll be fairly defensive across the board, so slight lacking of health is not the be-all end-all. Or do I give 1 medium for now, stick to Arcana, and hope that we get... I'm looking for like Hand or Love, I think are both extreme or major sacrifices. And both of those I'm willing to entertain. Giving up evocables, on the other hand, that's a bit rougher for me, just because of how much I love using the rechargeable evocables in this game, and not to mention wands being a pretty solid like anti-Hydra maneuver. Maybe we'll not worry too much at this one, or at this case. And we will just make the medium sacrifice of some magic with the plan to hopefully get something a little more impactful, with a little bit more oomph on next go around. There we go, take care of Dowen, and then we'll run into a raged Devessa at some point. Speak of the devil. Let's see, can I just completely take the wind out of your sails? Not looking great. I mean, 31% chance. There we go. Happened in 3 tries, so I guess a fitting representation of the probabilities there at the end of the day. And that should, I was about to say, basically do it for the floor. Fantastic. And now we're very much happy that we found ourselves some early poison resistance. Though I feel like the Orc priests still very much causing us a bunch of grief there. And then we could do a little bit of stair dancing shenanigans. Fantastic. Very least, take care of the priests so we're not fighting off the bees, Oga, not the bees, and the priests at the same time. That seemed to have made the difference there, makes everything a little more manageable.